On the Monday, August 25th episode of The Young and the Restless, Adam tried to get Nick to join forces. Billy had Cain followed, and Victor blackmailed Cain into an alliance. Nick and Adam ran into one another at the new Newman ranch. Adam expressed doubts about Victor's plan to pretend to form an alliance with Cain. Adam recognized that Jack would always be Victor's main adversary, but he didn't believe the situation justified an alliance with Cain, who couldn't be trusted. Nick admitted that he didn't condone Victor's plans for Jabot, but nothing would stop their dad from going after Jack. Adam questioned the point of cozying up to Cain, and Nick reasoned that it was about keeping their enemies close. Nick revealed that he'd already started trying to bridge the gap to get Cain to trust them, but Adam protested that it would take too long when Cain was already making moves. Adam swore that he'd never questioned their father's killer instincts, but it seemed like a perfect opportunity for Cain to pull a fast one on Victor. Nick opted to stay the course, but Adam worried that there were too many questions about how Cain had amassed his fortune. Adam preferred to avoid walking into a trap, and he proposed that he and Nick present a united front to convince Victor to change his mind. Nick was sure Victor couldn't be talked out of anything, and he thought Victor could pull it off. Nick referred to a weapon that Victor was planning to use against Cain. Nick recounted that he and Sharon had found information about the French chateau's previous owners when they'd been locked up. He divulged that Victor had been waiting for confirmation about something that could tie everything back to the chateau. Adam wished he and Nick were on the same page. Nick pointed out that the information might be strong enough to avoid the need to form a fake friendship to protect their family. Nick encouraged Adam to put his faith in Victor. Adam hoped they didn't live to regret Victor's plan. At Crimson Lights, Cain explained it to Lily that building his empire had been the biggest risk of his life, and he'd kept it a secret because he hadn't wanted her to see him fail. He continued that he'd done it for her and the kids because he'd had a lot to make up for, so he'd poured his heart and soul into it. Lily argued that while he'd achieved money and power as a successful businessman, he'd failed as a father because the twins felt betrayed. Cain lamented that he'd ended up in the place he feared, with his family despising him. She asked if it had all been for nothing. Victor greeted Lily and Cain and requested to speak with Cain. Cain huffed that he was in the middle of something, but Lily declared that they were done. She added that she needed to support the kids, and she urged Cain to think about what they'd talked about and reflect on what he wanted. Cain begged her to stay, but Lily firmly stated that he'd made his choices and he had to take responsibility for the consequences. After Lily left, Victor suggested that he and Cain talk in private. Lily and Holden ran into one another in Chancellor Park, and she voiced surprise that he was still there despite her warning about working for Cain. Holden replied that he was wary about warnings from people about their exes, and he confirmed that he'd accepted the job managing Cain's real estate. Lily expected him to end up regretting it, since Cain had just once again reminded her how much he hurt the people close to him. Holden proposed that he and Lily stay out of one another's business. She defended that she and Cain had kids together, but she didn't recognize the person he'd become, and Cain hiring Holden was another piece of the puzzle. Holden claimed that he hadn't been able to turn down steady employment. Lily reminded him that he'd rejected the offer to work at Winters, but Holden groused that it had been a pity offer, because Damien had never seen him as an equal, just a lackey. Lily scolded that it seemed like Holden wasn't mourning Damien's loss at all. Holden swore that he was sorry about Damien's death, but their friendship had been over long before Damien had gone to France. Holden maintained that Damien had caused their rift by treating him like something to be tossed aside, rather than his best friend. Holden muttered that Damien had been happiest when Holden had fallen in line, and Damien hadn't needed a best friend once he had a brother. Lily sympathized that Holden had lost a friend, but she sensed that he'd shut off his emotions. Holden shot back that she should look at the way she treated her ex when it was clear how much Cain still loved her. Lily snapped that Holden knew nothing about her complicated history with Cain, but Holden liked to offer his 2 cents. Holden found her comment ironic when she felt entitled to speak about his career, friendships, and life choices. Lily defended that she'd been trying to do Holden a favor because Cain had an agenda. Holden wondered why she cared. Lily thought Damien would have wanted her to look out for his friend, and she swore that all she wanted was the truth. Holden stressed that he didn't know Cain's overall plan, but Lily sensed something more was going on. Over the phone at home, Billy instructed a private investigator to keep tabs on Cain's every move, especially if it involved Chancellor. Sally arrived with an armful of garment bags and wondered if Billy could clear his schedule for the rest of the day, since she needed his help with an activity that involved taking off her clothes. Billy amorously reached for Sally, but she clarified that she wanted his input on her outfit for the Abbott Communications launch party. He expected her to look amazing in anything she put on or took off. Sally insisted that she wanted Billy's opinion because she was having trouble deciding, and she needed him to tell which vintage dress was most dazzling. Sally started to unbutton her shirt, and Billy plopped in a chair and said she didn't have to tell him twice. She stepped out to try on the first outfit. Sally twirled around in a flirty polka dot dress, followed by a slinky red number. She then emerged in an elegant blue gown with arm-length gloves, and Billy applauded, calling her stunning. She turned her back to him, held up her hair, and asked if he minded. He kissed her neck as he unzipped her dress. They kissed passionately and fell back on the couch. After Billy and Sally made love, she noted that she hadn't even tried on all the options. He predicted that they wouldn't get any work done that day, and she proposed that they go with one of the 3 dresses she'd shown him. He selected the third one and anticipated a good party. She looked forward to sending the message of reinventing the golden age of innovation in media, but she admitted that she was hiding a deeper fear that she was in over her head. Billy vowed to be with Sally every step of the way, and he had no doubt that she was the right person to run the company. Sally was determined to prove that Billy had made the right decision by putting her in charge. Billy answered a call and asked if there was information on Cain already. After he hung up, he relayed that Victor was meeting with Cain. Sally was shocked that Billy was having Cain followed. Billy crowed that it was paying off. Sally fretted that Cain might retaliate by going after them through Abbott Communications if he found out. Billy planned to be ready when Cain slipped up, and he'd have information to share with Jack to protect Jabot. Billy expected to make an acquisition of his own by beating Cain to the punch. "Goodbye, Newmans, and hello, Chancellor," Billy exclaimed. Victor and Cain retreated to Cain's train. Cain assumed Victor wanted to talk about joining forces against Jack and Jabot. Victor announced that he was there to make Cain an offer he couldn't refuse, and he imagined Cain's children weren't pleased. Cain spat that it was thanks to Victor and Adam exposing him. Victor argued that Cain had had enough time to tell the truth, but Cain doubted Victor's new incentive was for his benefit, unless Victor was willing to sell Chancellor. Victor suspected Cain's obsession with Chancellor had something to do with hoping to win Lily's heart back, but he surmised from what he'd overheard at the coffee house that Lily wanted nothing to do with Cain. Victor felt that becoming allies would be good for Cain. Cain wondered what Victor could possibly give him besides Chancellor that would be enticing. Victor placed an envelope on the table and offered to never let its contents see the light of day. Cain guessed Victor had manufactured another scandal to leak to the press. Victor cited evidence that the money used to buy Arabesque had been the result of a massive fraud perpetrated by Colin against a wealthy, elderly woman who'd owned the chateau in France. Victor proclaimed that Colin's last great swindle had been to get the woman's fortune and give it all to Cain, so Cain's empire had been built with stolen money. Cain opened the envelope and found the handwritten last will and testament of Madame de Leon, who'd left everything to the love of her life, Lord Jeremy Edgerton. Victor revealed that it had been the last alias Colin had used, but Cain denied having any knowledge of it. Victor suspected that it would be hard for Cain's children and the rest of the world to believe that Cain hadn't known his father had tricked an old woman into handing over her fortune, which Cain had used to build his own. Cain asked if Victor was extorting him, and Victor compared it to how Cain had tried to coerce Nikki into surrendering Chancellor. Victor invited Cain to join him as an ally against Jack and Jabot, because if he didn't, the document would go to the press, and Victor would run Cain out of town for good. Cain realized that he didn't have a choice. Smirking, Victor said he'd known Cain would see reason. "Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Pulse Canvas. It's me, Julie here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching." So let's dive into today's video. The Young and the Restless spoilers update for Tuesday, August 26th reveals that Sally Spectra will have a reason to worry as Billy Abbott goes digging for more information. Cain Ashby will also open up on Tuesday's Y&R episode, so here's what viewers can look forward to. Once Cain wraps up his blackmail meeting with Victor Newman, he'll get pulled into another meeting soon after. This one won't be as tense, since it'll be more about Billy making Cain his pal and offering up an alcoholic beverage. Billy might commiserate with Cain about their mutual disdain for Victor, though Cain may not share the details of Victor extorting him. Whatever the case, Billy will try to ease Cain into trusting him a bit more and hope he'll offer additional info. Once Billy subtly digs for details, Cain will open up about the last 6 years and how he spent it. Although Cain regrets hurting Lily Winters and the kids with his deception, he felt the need to keep his new empire separate out of fear of failure. Cain will talk about living away from Genoa City and perhaps discuss the adjustment of coming home again, too. By the end of this conversation, Billy may hope to establish a solid alliance with Cain that the latter can count on. Of course, Billy will secretly be plotting to help Jack Abbott and protect Jabot, as well as pursue Chancellor for himself. That's why Sally will be on edge if she gets updates on this Billy and Cain bonding session news. It's clear that Sally has some concerns about Cain and what he's capable of. Sally also knows Billy tends to take too many risks, so she'll have a good reason to worry on Tuesday's show. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Sally will continue to fret over what Billy's getting himself into, but she'll make time to concentrate on the launch party that's coming up soon. Welcome to the Young and the Restless Daily YAPP for a quick, and by that, I mean you're already halfway done, recap of the most amazing or what the heck did we just watch moments on today's episode. Let's get to it. On The Young and the Restless today, Holden spoke for all of us when he had an impromptu run-in with Lily in the park. Lily still wore her angry pants as she scolded him for even being in town after she'd warned him not to trust Cain, then ranted how he wasn't a very good friend to the guy she'd just met. Holden calmly explained that he was very loyal to Damien for years, but as soon as his BFF met her and got a new brother, he ditched him. But when Lily continued with her string of insults riddled with invasive questions, Holden dipped into our message boards and gave her the comeuppance she's needed for a while. Less calmly, he told the uppity ex-wife of Cain and non-widow of Damien that nothing he nor Cain did was any of her concern, and she should take a look in the mirror and analyze her own feelings and behavior instead of everyone else's. Of course, Lily took that well. Maybe that cool exterior and snarky attitude was a turn-on challenge for Damien, but Holden wasn't having it. If more people called her out like Holden just did, everyone would probably be in a better mood in her presence. Want more details? We got you! Soap Central has the best full Y&R recaps on the internet. You can even go back over 30 years and read each and every one of them. If you can't wait until the next episode, we have daily spoilers too. And whatever you do this weekend, do not, seriously, do not, forget to read the 2 scoops for some laughs in the as close as we can come to being a watching party without actually being a show. And the best part is if you agree or disagree, we want to know. As always, share your comments below. The Young and the Restless scoop for the week of August 25th reveals Nate Hastings will reconsider the position he took with Audra Charles. Also coming up, Cain Ashby will confide in Billy Abbott. Plus, Victoria Newman will worry about her daughter's future, and Amanda Sinclair will return. Y&R spoilers tease, Cain will regale Billy with the tale of what he was up to during the 6 years he was away from town. There are no other spoilers for that day, so it looks like it could be a standalone episode. Meanwhile, Victor Newman will extort Cain's cooperation in his vendetta against Jack Abbott and Jabot. The mustache will uncover evidence that Cain's money came from his father's fraudulent romance scam. He'll realize he needs to do damage control, and he'll ask Amanda to come home. At the Abbott estate, Claire Newman will grill Kyle Abbott about what really happened with Audra in France. Perhaps he'll actually come clean, because later in the week, Victoria will be concerned about Claire. Other Y&R spoilers tease Nikki. Newman will make some power moves at Chancellor. Plus, Victor will taunt Jack. and Lily Winters will get a reminder of her past with Cain. Finally, Audra dumped Nate last week because he didn't believe her side of the story. He accused her of lying, which she was, but she wouldn't stand for it. Instead, she doubled down on her lies and didn't admit anything. Y&R spoilers indicate Nate will make a confession to Devin Winters this week. He'll tell his cousin he has no evidence that Audra is lying. So, will he decide to believe his former girlfriend and ask her for another chance? Stay tuned! Hey Y&R fans, are you enjoying the new CBS Sudser Beyond the Gates? Then make sure you join our free Facebook group. Keep reading The Soap Scoop for Young and The Restless spoilers and news. And make sure to also join our Y&R Facebook group or leave us a reply in our comments section. But if you miss an episode, don't fret. You can watch The Young and the Restless online at cbs.com. The Young and the Restless, spoilers for the next 3 weeks, August 25th to September 12th, reveal that Phyllis Summers will get ready for an expert strategy while Lily Winters struggles with her true Cain Ashby feelings. There'll also be some wedding prep, so let's talk about what's in store on Y&R. The week of August 25-29 will bring Lily's interrogation of Holden Novak, but she won't score any more information about Cain's intentions in Genoa City. Lily will continue to push Cain away, but she'll secretly struggle with her real feelings and all the memories they share. Meanwhile, Victor Newman will coerce Cain into becoming his ally against Jabot through some blackmail. Nevertheless, Victor perhaps shouldn't get too comfortable when it comes to having the upper hand. Cain will recruit Amanda Sinclair to help him make some bold moves and could catch Victor by surprise sooner or later. Until then, Victoria Newman will worry about Claire Newman's relationship with Kyle Abbott and the potential for devastation. Claire won't be able to move past her concerns about what really happened between Kyle and Audra Charles in France, so she'll push him for the entire story. It's possible Kyle will change his version of events from "nothing happened" to "it was just one kiss," since that's the story he sold Jack Abbott and Diane Jenkins Abbott recently. In reality, Kyle locked lips with Audra over and over while he was wearing a towel, so Claire definitely doesn't have an accurate perception of what played out. If all this eventually blows up, it could ruin Kyle and Claire's romance. Kyle will do something daring and try to keep his relationship intact, but more dramas ahead for this couple. As for Nate Hastings, he may have a change of heart and fight for an Audra reunion. Nate was exactly right about Audra's deception, but she denied everything and dumped him for thinking the worst of her. Now Nate may ask Audra to forgive him, since he's starting to waver on whether he handled this correctly. Over with Billy Abbott, he'll have some important news for Jack. Billy will carry out some spy games as planned and report back with what he's learned about Cain's agenda. However, Cain can't be trusted any more than Billy can, so they'll need to be careful of each other. During the week of September 5th, Jack will do some brainstorming after scoring Billy's intel. There's no way Jack will just sit back and let Jebbo face an attack, so he'll do whatever he can to protect his family legacy. Sharon Newman could also have another reason to fret over Mariah Copeland and the possibility that her marriage is slipping away. Will Sharon pick up on the growing connection between Tessa Porter-Daniel Romalotti Jr.? Even Mariah herself could spot Daniel and Tessa looking cozier than she anticipated. It won't be surprising if a smooch happens between Daniel and Tessa sooner or later, so stay tuned to see if they'll act on the feelings that are developing. The week of September 8 to 12 may bring some wedding prep since Lauren Fenmore Baldwin promised 3 different bridal gowns for Christine Blair. Christine may nail down which one she wants ahead of her October wedding to Danny Romalotti. Daniel has also been tasked with keeping Phyllis away from the ceremony, so Christine may remind him of the importance of that eventually. In the meantime, Phyllis may face more tension in her friendship with Amanda if they don't agree on the best way to help Cain. Phyllis will also become an AI expert like Cain asked her to, so he may deliver new orders and give her an opportunity to make a big splash with her newfound knowledge. The Young and the Restless spoilers say the next 3 weeks will bring some highs and lows, so stick with us for updates on all the excitement. The spoilers for The Young and the Restless, Tuesday, August 26th, 2025 episode will finally show Cain revealing details about his time away from Genoa City. Cain Ashby made his presence known to his guests from Genoa City in June. Since then, He's been promising that all will be revealed soon. Well, now the time for that has come. On Tuesday's episode, Cain will reveal details about his time away from Genoa City. Cain exited the canvas years ago when he went off to track down Colin, who had made off with Devon's millions. He and Lily had been facing difficult challenges as Cain had apparently fathered a baby with Juliet, a colleague with whom he'd had a one-night stand. The road to Cain and Lily possibly reuniting someday was derailed as Cain had another mission: to get Devon's money back to him. Cain succeeded, but he didn't return to Genoa City. We saw what Lily was going through, but we were unaware of what Cain had been up to. There were rumblings that he was the enigmatic Aristotle Dumas. Those rumors gained more traction when Amanda came to town and met with Lily, Devon, and Nate, assuring them that Dumas, her employer, meant Winters no harm. We know that with Colin's help, Cain was able to amass a huge fortune that made him extremely wealthy. How wealthy? Cain has a huge chateau in France, multiple trains, and he's bought up many properties in town, including the Genoa City Athletic Club. Pretty soon, folks may not be able to go anywhere without stepping into one of Cain's properties. Did Cain have anyone's help besides Colin? Perhaps he encountered some powerful individuals who helped him put his power base together. Might we see how Cain came to work with an Amanda? It's possible we could see the late Damien and Carter in flashbacks as they both worked for Cain. Don't miss Tuesday's episode to learn about Cain's mysterious past. This could be the end of Nadra. Nate has endured one heartache after another on The Young and the Restless. His latest heartbreak was caused by his girlfriend, Audra. After her latest betrayal, it seems Nadra is over. Or are they? Nate thought he'd found love with Audra. The former doctor helped the ambitious businesswoman turn her life around and become a kinder person. But Audra returned to her old ways, and now she might lose Nate. Audra's deal with Victor was meant to split up Kyle and Claire. However, it's her relationship with Nate that's suffering. Nate was upset to learn about Audra and Victor's scheme. Despite Audra's attempts to save face, Nate wasn't falling for her lies. Because of Audra's lack of honesty, her and Nate are done. Many Y&R couples manage to overcome their problems and stay together. Nate was willing to give Audra a chance if she told the truth. Yet, there were too many holes in her story. If Audra decides to be honest, maybe she'll have a chance at salvaging her relationship with Nate. However, Nate might not forgive and forget so easily. Audra put their relationship at risk, just so she could get funding for her company. There's no telling how far she would have went with her scheme if she wasn't busted. What hurts Nate the most is that Audra continued her plan after the death of his half-brother, Damien. Audra was in France when Damien was killed. Instead of showing remorse or thinking about Damien's family, she was concerned with her own needs. The Young and the Restless spoilers are in for the week of August 25th, 2025. Fans can expect Amanda Sinclair to come back to town with a new assignment. Cain Ashby thinks about his 6 years away, so maybe viewers can get a taste of what kind of man he is now. Plus, Lily Winters is reminded of her history with Cain. Keep reading, and let's talk about what is coming up in the CBS soap opera. The last time Amanda was seen, she was helping Cain in Nice. However, when the party turned deadly, it was the lawyer who unjammed the phone lines and called the police. At that time, Cain said he would understand if she walked away. After a moment of hesitation, Amanda decided she would continue working for the tycoon. Amanda comes back to Genoa City with a new assignment from Cain. However, she won't appear until Friday. Victor Newman informed Cain about Colin Atkinson's final scam. The tycoon was confused as he truly thought Colin had turned his life around. It's also possible that Victor invented evidence to force Cain's hand. In any case, Cain will think about the 6 years he spent away. Meanwhile, Lily can't help but remember her history with Cain. The Young and the Restless spoilers for the week of August 25th reveal that Victoria Newman will have Claire Grace Newman on her mind. The brunette knows that Claire is a good person. However, all good people can get pushed to their breaking point. With the girl raised by Jordan, her satisfaction with exposing Audra Charles is a bit worrying. Elsewhere, expect Kyle Abbott to make an unexpected move. Over with Nick Newman, he makes a peace treaty with Adam Newman. Speaking of Nick, he attempts to do damage control with Phyllis Summers. Nate Hastings confides in Devin Winters about Audra. Plus, Billy Abbott tells Jack Abbott all about Cain's next plan. There will also be Nikki Newman. It is teased that she makes a jaw-dropping change at Chancellor. Could this change stop Cain in his tracks somehow? Which storyline are you looking forward to seeing the most during the week of August 25th, 2025? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Keep watching the soap on CBS or Paramount Plus to find out what happens next. The Young and the Restless spoilers are in for the week of August 25th, 2025. Fans can expect Amanda Sinclair to return to Genoa City. Pieces of Cain Ashby's missing 6 years are shown. Plus, Lily Winters has to think about her past. Keep reading and let's talk about what is coming up in the CBS soap opera. The last time that we saw Amanda, she was in Nice with Cain and the other partygoers. Cain told her if she wanted to quit, he would understand. While she didn't agree with the events that went down, she agreed to stay on board. Amanda won't come back until Friday's episode. So, we will see what she can reveal about Cain, if she opens up at all. Victor Newman has thrown a curveball at Cain about Colin Atkinson. It really confused Cain, as he thought his father had straightened out his life. However, there is also a chance that Victor invented the whole con just to force Cain to make a deal. As the week progresses, Cain will think about the 6 years he spent after leaving Genoa City. Meanwhile, Lily also thinks about her past with Cain. The Young and the Restless spoilers for the week of August 25th reveal that Victoria Newman worries about Claire Grace Newman's future. The mother is right to worry. While Claire had every right to expose Audra Charles, her level of satisfaction from it is worrying. She keeps assuring everyone she's not Jordan, but heartbreak and humiliation can make a woman resort to extreme measures. Elsewhere, Nick Newman and Adam Newman make a pact. Plus, Nick will also try to do damage control with Phyllis Summers. Nate Hastings opens up to Devin Winters. Plus, Billy Abbott reports Cain's latest scheme to Jack Abbott. There will also be Nikki Newman, who makes a huge change at Chancellor. Will this change somehow stop Cain from getting what he wants? As for Jack and Victor, they will exchange insults. Which storyline are you looking forward to seeing the most during the week of August 25th, 2025? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Keep watching the soap on CBS or Paramount Plus to find out what happens next. Young and the Restless sees Phyllis Summers up to her usual antics soon. She may really embarrass her son, Daniel Romalotti, at his dad's wedding. We're going to discuss whether Christine Williams and Danny Romalotti's wedding turns insane because of Phyllis. She may upset Daniel in the process for a very specific reason. I'm going to get into that. But before we dive in, please click subscribe if you're not following us yet. We've got a big Young and the Restless wedding coming in just a few weeks. Most fans I've seen on soap social media don't really care much about seeing Christine get her happy ending with Danny. However, I'm hoping it turns into an exciting chance for Phyllis to wreak havoc so we can get some drama on our soap. Recently, Danny proposed to Christine. When he asked his longtime off-again, on-again sweetheart to marry him, of course, she said yes. Phyllis was not happy to hear that. She has Danny's ring on her finger because, of course, Phyllis wants it on her own finger. Right now, Danny and Christine don't see any reason to wait to get hitched. Spoilers confirm that Danny and Christine's wedding will be in October. That's only a few weeks away. Plenty of time for Phyllis to plot a way to mess up Christine's big day. Whether for fun, spite, or both, you can bet Phyllis will be scheming. Danny wants his son Daniel to be there as his best man, and Daniel agreed without hesitation. Since Tessa Porter has been teaching Daniel to play guitar, and he wrote a song, he may even play it at the wedding because his dad really wants him to. Christine and her bestie, Lauren Fenmore, are already searching for the perfect dress for the wedding. Christine is over the moon, but there is one thing overshadowing her excitement: Daniel's psycho stalker ex, Phyllis, who despises the bride. Christine mentioned to Lauren that she's worried Phyllis will do something to ruin her big day. She should be worried. That's valid, because history shows Phyllis Summers won't sit idly by while Christine gets her happily ever after with Danny. Phyllis Summers has always been unhinged, and she still hasn't processed the trauma of being abducted with Sharon Newman by psycho Martin Laurent. Plus, Phyllis has always wanted to come between Christine and Danny. She has done it at every opportunity. Even though their feud goes back years, Phyllis's latest attempt to seduce Danny away from Christine was pretty recent. One of the most outrageous things she did was flaunting herself half-naked under a trench coat at the jazz lounge. She blatantly tried to seduce Danny, showing him she had just lingerie under the coat. Danny was like, "No thanks." But she can't ever take a hint. I see why Christine is worried. Phyllis is erratic and a loose cannon. Even on her best days, she acts without thinking, usually leaving chaos and destruction in her wake. She absolutely despises Christine, and hanging out with Cain Ashby isn't going to make her a better person. It'll probably just make Phyllis worse. Once she finds out Danny is going to marry Christine soon, I could see Phyllis starting to plot some chaos. I'm guessing she may decide to show up at the wedding, lash out, and target her longtime nemesis, Christine. But whatever Phyllis does, it's not just going to hurt Christine. It's also going to anger Danny and embarrass her son Daniel, who actually likes Christine. Daniel is totally happy to have Christine as his new stepmom soon. Phyllis isn't going to sit still for that. I think she may pull some moves, just like Christine feared. Just real quick, here are some things Phyllis Summers might try. She could sabotage Christine's dress, causing a wardrobe malfunction walking down the aisle or at the altar. She could swap out the dress for a really ugly one. Or maybe spill red wine on the dress moments before the wedding starts, leaving no time for Christine to fix it. In terms of smaller petty crimes, Phyllis could steal the bride and groom toppers from the wedding cake, destroy the cake, throw it at Christine, or glue her own face onto the little bride on top of the cake. We're talking about Phyllis Summers here. She might even pull the fire alarm to send Danny Romalotti, Christine, and their guests running out of the venue. Heck, I wouldn't put it past Phyllis to skip the false alarm and cause a real fire by setting something on fire at the venue. That would ruin Christine's wedding. The sprinklers would soak her dress and soak the cake. It would be a total disaster. There are all kinds of devious things Phyllis could do to mess up Danny and Christine's big day. But in the end, I don't think Phyllis Summers can do anything to stop Danny Romalotti from saying "I do" and marrying Christine. Christine is the big love of his life. Phyllis Summers was just a woman who drugged and molested him. She then lied and said he got her pregnant and has stalked him ever since. Danny should have had a permanent restraining order on Phyllis long ago. The person who's going to be hurt most if Phyllis lashes out won't be Christine. It will be her son, Daniel Romalotti. Anything Phyllis does to derail the wedding is going to horrify Daniel. Of course, he'll be there since he's his dad's best man. I'm also wondering if the wedding might be Daniel and Tessa's first official date, which means this day will be very important for him. He would have skin in the game. This week on Y&R, Daniel and Tessa are getting much closer. We know Daniel is catching feelings for Tessa, and it looks like she may return those feelings. Tessa recently told Daniel Romalotti he makes her feel like she could be happy again. So Daniel and Tessa are falling for each other. This wedding might be special for Phyllis Summers' son in his own personal way. If Phyllis does something outrageous, it might not just ruin Christine's big day, but also Daniel's big date. If Phyllis Summers pulls some crazy stunt, it would affect two couples, Christine and Danny, and Daniel and Tessa. I could see Phyllis doing something nutty. Then Daniel would be furious and have to drag his mother out of the venue. That would ruin his chance to have a really nice date with Tessa Porter. This could be the last straw, the straw that breaks the camel's back for Daniel. He might just be done with Phyllis. She has pulled so many stunts over the years, even faking her own death not long ago. Daniel Romalotti and his sister Summer Newman had to go through all the hell of grieving, thinking she was dead when she was alive. Phyllis just keeps stirring chaotic trouble, Phyllis style. If you remember, it took a long time for Daniel and Summer to get past that and forgive their mother. If Daniel sees Phyllis is still up to her old tricks, reckless and destructive, he might just wash his hands of her. She could see Danny marry Christine and then see Daniel walk away from her. It could be a very, very bad day for Phyllis Summers. This week's Y&R preview has Victor hurling accusations and Claire confronting Kyle. August 25th to 29 will feature many confrontations on The Young and the Restless. The mustache makes an accusation against a rival. while another character seeks answers from their significant other. Here's a glimpse of what's ahead. Lily still wants to find out Cain's game plan. Her search for answers takes her to Holden. Since he used to work for Dumas Cain, he knows his boss's mindset. When Lily meets with Holden, she tells him that she wants the truth. But Holden says she's wrong if she thinks he knows about Cain's overall plan. Lily replies that she finds that hard to believe. With Holden and Cain secretly working together, could Lily uncover their alliance and expose their plan? Victor's war with Cain is heating up. Cain is determined not to step down, but the mustache is eager to crush his new rival. This week, the two meet on Cain's train to discuss business. Their talk shifts to Cain's late father, and Victor hints at Colin's last great swindle. A confused Cain asks what Victor means, and the mustache explains that Cain's plan to buy properties in Genoa City is the result of dirty money. Since Colin was a scam artist, it's possible he and Cain accrued their fortune by devious methods. Meanwhile, Claire is still fuming over Victor and Audra's scheme to break up her and Kyle. Most of Claire's anger has been directed at Audra, but now Kyle might feel her wrath. Claire is suspicious that Kyle isn't being truthful about Audra. When Claire asks if anything happened between him and Audra in Nice, Kyle is nervous. He's hiding the fact that he made out with Audra in order to bust her scheme. Although Kyle's trying to protect Claire from the truth, he's doing more damage by keeping it a secret. Will Kyle finally confess that he and Audra kissed, or will he continue to keep Claire in the dark? Zuleika Silver isn't bothered by negativity from viewers. Zuleika Silver plays everyone's favorite, the young and the restless, vixen Audra. The character is always causing trouble, which infuriates viewers. Some fans are very vocal about their dislike for Audra, but Silver just brushes it off. In the 3 years that Audra's been in Genoa City, she's stirred up much drama. Kyle has been the target of most of Audra's manipulations. Recently, Audra tried to break up Kyle and Claire in exchange for Victor funding Vibrante. Audra's actions have upset many fans who aren't afraid to voice their opinions about the character. While some fans can be cruel with their comments, Silver takes it in stride. On Instagram, the actress posted photos from Wynar's recent fan event, during which she had a few interesting interactions. "I loved meeting each and every one of you at the Young and the Restless fan event. You were so sweet and graceful. Well, most. I did get called a cheater and a wayorshi, but we laughed about it after because obviously I'm not Audra. Thanks for all the gifts and your kind words. You all remind me why I'm so lucky to do this job." Silver has a great sense of humor when it comes to dealing with insults about her character. Although she's nothing like Audra, Silver is doing a remarkable job as Genoa City's bad girl. Fans haven't been too happy with Audra recently, and their anger is about to increase. Nate was left heartbroken upon learning about Audra's deal with Victor. Instead of being honest, she continued to lie and make herself look like a victim. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal a preview clip has been released for the week of August 25. It shows Claire Grace Newman issuing a demand to Kyle Abbott. Plus, Lily Winters pushes Holden Novak to divulge information about Cain Ashby. Keep reading, and let's chat about what is coming up in the CBS soap opera. Let's start off with Lily, who questions Holden about Cain. In the preview clip for next week, Lily says she just wants the truth. That is when Holden replies that he doesn't know anything about Cain's long-term plans. However, Lily doesn't believe him. Even if Holden did know, he couldn't tell Lily anyway. Of course, fans know that Holden questioned Cain before Damien Cain's death. However, Holden was told to mind his own business and just make the connections on that list. Holden was fine with the secrecy before. However, due to Holden's feelings for Claire, I wonder if he could get concerned about Cain's plans. The Young and the Restless spoilers for the week of August 25th reveal that Victor Newman summons Cain for a meeting. It sounds like Victor has found some information about Cain's late father, Colin Atkinson. Apparently, Colin had one last swindle before he died. Then, Victor declares that Cain is swindling all of them. Kyle kept redirecting the conversation before, so Claire never did get a clear answer. What she suspects is that something might have happened, but Kyle isn't being totally honest about it. Claire would rather Kyle tell her a painful truth than for Audra to be able to hold it over their heads. However, the young man assumes he will lose Claire because of how far it went. If Kyle is smart, he would confess everything to Claire before she finds out another way. She's already suspicious because of Audra's claims. With Claire and Victor just making up, I wonder if Audra's revenge might not just be about Kyle's relationship. I wonder if Audra could also target Claire's other relationships. Which storyline are you looking forward to seeing the most during the week of August 25th, 2025? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Keep watching the soap on CBS or Paramount Plus to find out what happens next.